那近期呢，有一个英文圈的 Podcaster， 他是穆斯林来的就因为讲了他的女儿在学校被强迫戴头巾，而被警察以煽动法令呢给抓起来调查。我已经把他的影片翻译中文了，我们来看他怎么说这件事情。
Welcome to the world of Sam. I'm back. My dear Malaysians, as you may well have known by now, I had been detained last Thursday with my fellow podcaster Brian Kong for a podcast he did with me on his Let's Get It show. So let's address this elephant in the room. Apparently, talking about your views, liberal mindset espoused by our rukun negara, secular education, and experiences as a Muslim is a crime in Malaysia. It all started on that Thursday, 6th of August, 2026. I made arrangements with the police to appear on the 12th, and that was agreed upon. Then I got a call from Brian, who told me his house was filled by police. Not to let the young man down, I came over as fast as I can with my friend and lawyer, Siti Kasim, to attend to the matter. At first, they wanted Brian to get into their police car, but eventually they agreed that Brian will come in my car. We were told that instructions were received from above that both of us are to go to the police station and to be detained. The arrangement made earlier has been overridden by someone higher up. We all went together, I, Brian, and Siti Kasim, as you saw in the live stream, in full cooperation to the police IPD Klang Utara. And there, we provided our statements for the investigation. Brian had his equipment seized. We were told that we were to be held for further investigation, and a remand was required the next day, where we are to appear in front of the magistrate. It turned out they needed a 4-day remand order from the court. There is a word for all that we went through. It's called fascism. Do we have a deep state acting like Gestapos in Malaysia? My dear fellow citizens, this is what we have come to from the so-called Reformasi, Madani, or whatever else freaking name they want to call themselves. Using the Sedition Act, which they once upon a time promised to abolish, and other acts, against two podcasters who were just having a conversation. They have lost their popularity. Their ship is sinking because they have done nothing of substance for the people, and the people are angry. And if you speak up, they try to shut us up in all sorts of ways. They are using the Sedition Act just like the bad old days of Maha Zalim and Maha Fir'aun. I must mention on the third day, the MP from Jelutong, YB-RSN Raya, taking the authorities and the minister to task. Thank you, Saudara Raya, but your own government did this. Guys, the video is all out there to be seen on YouTube and TikTok. No one is denying its upload or content. It has been there for at least 1 month. I have yet to hear a riot or an overthrow happening because of that podcast. This is the gist of the investigation. Why arrested and remand people? For what? Intimidation? Punishment? Bullying? Somebody somewhere felt what I said was seditious and bad for societal harmony? Really? I talk about making our society better. I like to point out things that ought to be different so our society is better and we grow as one Malaysia and one society of Malaysians, irrespective of race and religion. I talk about my views, my experiences, and the things I have gone through in my life. How is that seditious? But obviously, somebody in authority decided to make an example of us and maybe teach us a lesson. Arrest them and throw them in the lockup. Because I know, and you know, of multiple individuals of a certain religious persuasion who have had multiple police reports made against them by members of the public, yet they have not spent even one day in police custody. They have not been remanded. How come? Why were Brian and I treated differently? If you believe the politicians blindly and don't question them, then that it is easier for them to do whatever they want to do, and then they leave you alone. That is how they make cowards of all of us. The country just slides further and further down the slope of extremism and economic malaise. I want to assure all viewers, well-wishers, and especially the friends and fellow podcasters and media that rallied to our cause and predicament, we are back home. And thank you to those of my friends who turned up the next morning at the police station. You guys were a sight for sore eyes. The most eclectic Malaysians of all races and backgrounds were present there for support. We were truly Malaysian in our belief in the right for free speech and the need for Malaysians to express their views, experiences, and opinions without fear or favor. My personal thanks to the unwavering support and assistance of my great friend, our Justice League of One, lawyer Siti Kasim, with Susanna at her side. As Tony Stark would say, I love you 3000. My sincere apologies to have to cancel our audience live podcast on the 8th, as we cannot determine the outcome. So, some have come all the way from Penang. My truly sincere apologies. We shall do a bigger and a much more exciting one. I promise you all that. In conclusion, my fellow Malaysians, this kind of abuse of power, intimidation, and persecution cannot be allowed to continue. We, the rakyat, are the power. The voters determine who we elect to represent us. Do we elect those who are willing to allow oppression? Or do we throw them out like soiled diapers? Just don't vote for those in power who are abusing their power. Not anymore. Elect new faces, individuals, and different parties. We must want change. I will not bow to oppressors. I never did and I never will. I will make that change. Let's kick them out. We have a country to save. Thank you so much.